What is your age?
Also a midlife coach.
Put my pictures and I'm like touching. And people tell me, what? You are so young. This is the life. Because your husband cannot say anything to you. The best part about midlife.
Storytelling is truth well told.
क्या अभी तो बात बोली है ना इन्होंने, कहानी सुनाओ, कहानी बनाओ मत। आप पहुंच कैसे गए वहां पे? Sir, I don't know. The investors are talking to me. मुझे तो लगता था बुली सिर्फ स्कूल में होते थे, आते जाते ऐसे पूछ लेंगे, हारी क्या हुआ आप गए भी नहीं हो, आपने पेपर वर्क भी नहीं किया, आपने अपनी स्क्रूटनी भी नहीं कराई, आपने बाल भी नहीं कलर किए, आप वहां गए भी नहीं फ्लाइट की टिकट खर्च करके, लेकिन आपको ये जानना है कि हारे क्या हुआ। Like, oh my God, I'm such a secretive, conversation. Also listen to this. अरे हम तो इसको बोल बोल के थक गए, सुधा अकल ही नहीं है। देखो।
Oh God, badass bahu.
Wow.
I'm sure a lot of storm inside and the calm outside.
How to get away with things?
You hit the name now. Be authentic.
Through the art of storytelling, she makes a lasting impact on businesses. Hello and welcome to Rashi Foundation. Richa Wahi is the founder of Tales That Spin and the co-founder of Passion Project, which aims to create a safe space for conversations. So in short, Richa is a storyteller and leaves a lasting impact on the listeners and the viewers. Richa, आपका बहुत-बहुत स्वागत है.
Thank you, Rashi.
To start with, Richa, tell all our listeners, all our viewers about your journey and also about the different projects and the brands you are doing.
So my journey started as a storyteller very recently, somewhere in 2019, though I feel I was always a storyteller. And in fact, I believe all humans are wired to be storytellers. So I've been writing stories since the age of 7. That was the time when I first won a prize in creative writing for a story that I wrote titled Earth is Sick and the Disease is Mankind. And from there, I've been writing stories. I was training to be a plant molecular genetist till in my early decades of 20s. And from there, I moved to the corporate, started my journey with a search firm, taking care of the life sciences practice. From there, I moved to international education, selling coaching. But somewhere down the line, I was always looking for something which infuels the passion in me. And what was it? It was always writing and sharing stories. So I've always been a great listener to people. I think that is one of the skills I have. So in 2019, a chance encounter with a couple of people on LinkedIn introduced me to storytelling, and I realized that this is already there in the corporate circles, and what we call the business storytelling has already taken shape. I started reading about it, did a couple of programs with the noted leaders in this space. I realized that in between this storytelling halabaloo, what I call, focus has now shifted on content creation. Everybody wants to get that 10-15 seconds of fame by sharing something quickly and instant gratification and likes and subscribers, this, that. So I felt somewhere in between this, the essence of storytelling was getting lost, and thus was founded Tales That Spin. So basically what we say that in the field of, or in the noise of content creation, be a storyteller first. We want to hold on to the spine of storytelling, sharing stories, listening to stories, and using them as an organizational tool in the business circles. That's the idea. Amongst the other things, Passion Project is something which just happened over a coffee conversation with a friend. And we realized that around us, there are a lot of conversations which are not happening particularly related to women and men both when they enter midlife. So that is another area which I'm very passionate about. I'm also a midlife coach on Mentza, which is a platform where we do audio conversations. So I started talking to people. People started coming forward and sharing their ideas, their challenges. So we realized that this is something which needs to be done. We need to have a space where people can come and openly talk about this advent of midlife, and I don't use the word midlife crisis. I feel it's a time for great opportunity, and a lot of women like me have realized their second or third career at this time. So this is the time of great activity and innovation and transformation. So I started what I call the passion project, but of course it's in a very infancy stage, and we are just meeting with people, and through my stories which I write on LinkedIn, I get DMs from people that, okay, yes, this resonated with me and this is exactly what I feel. So, of course, it's going to take shape in times to come. Yes.
Okay, what is your age? Sorry to ask.
So, I'll be 45 in the next 3 days.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So this
I'll be
is
45
actually...
in the next 3 days. I literally do not believe in celebrating 40 as a milestone birthday. I feel every year is a milestone once you start your midlife journey. And I also completely refrain from the idea of, oh, 40 is the new 20. Definitely, it's not the new 20. The wisdom you have here right now, I didn't have it 2 decades back. And it's not just me, a lot of us. So I am completely vociferous when it comes to talking about this age and the kind of liberation it brings and the wisdom it brings. And we are born in very good times. There's so much to be done, and so much can be done. There's so many tools available, so many platforms. So I feel really lucky, like all of us, to be here at this time and able to do so many things. And I think I credit the storytelling journey of mine completely to COVID. As they say, every cloud has a silver lining. So when we were sitting at home, the plethora of online platforms which were available to suck up knowledge and to learn, that gave the idea, and that gave me the opportunity to learn so much. So I'm completely thankful to that time also. So yes, from there only it all began.
So when we started, COVID came in, and we also started with this midlife. So today when I put my reels and I put my pictures, and I'm like touching 49, and people tell me, what? You are 49? So yeah, my son is 24.
Oh my God.
When you talk about midlife, like, what is midlife? This is the life, this is the age to have fun.
Yes.
And I find it so funny when people tell you midlife. Even I have a lot of workshops with me with one midlife. I've stopped doing that, honestly. You can look good, you can just be you can just speak what you want to. Whether you want to put a bindi or you don't want to put a bindi, it's solely your taste. Your mom cannot say anything to you. So this is beautiful. And of course, your husband cannot say anything to you. The best part about midlife.
And I think you also stop getting bothered about what people are saying, which I was getting, say 20 years back. The society and the people around me were creating a pressure. All those shackles are gone because now I don't care, basically. Self-love at its extreme best.
So could you share a simple yet powerful storytelling tip for businesses looking to connect with their, endeavors, and also more effectively through narratives?
Rashi, the basic thing that we need to remember is that businesses are built by humans to be sold to humans. So this exchange is happening from one human or from a group of humans to a group of humans. So the essence of connection has to be the idea, the data, infused with emotions. See, because for example, if you're a company which is selling home safety devices, so that's one part of it. But the story that should go out in the market is not that what you're making, the camera, the bell, whatever, but also how the brand can make you feel safe in your own home. And there's a beautiful example which I always quote in all my workshops is the advertisement by Google, the partition ad. Now, very beautifully, partition as a sentiment is very, very close to the heart of people, especially North India, because we've all grown up listening to those stories, reading those books, and something which our grandparents parents witnessed firsthand. So, how beautifully this brand story talks about this sentiment to reconnect to people who were childhood friends, but because of this unfortunate thing, they're now part, and they feel helpless that they can't be connecting again. And nowhere in the middle Google is saying, oh, hey, we are Google, hey, we are Google. Very nicely they've infused the idea that how you can use Google to their best, whether it's ticketing, using booking the tickets, knowing the weather, finding about the place. So this is what a brand story should look like. And this is one basic tip, that when you're talking about your business, you want to engage with the audience, talk about the sentiment, talk about the emotion. What is it that you're selling and how it can change your life? How you are the best person to kind of give it to them. So you have to engage with the audience using emotions, using metaphors. No matter how much idea, no matter how much data you have, it has to be powered with a story infused with emotion. That's my go-to mantra.
देखो, अच्छा अच्छा शो तो हर कोई करता है, ऑनेस्टली, अच्छी अच्छी बातें बता दो, ज्ञान दे दो. I don't want to do such kind of show with you, honestly,
Okay.
because
Okay.
you're Richa Wahi. That's why.
Okay.
So I want you to tell me one
Mhm.
difficult storytelling situation you've been in, and how did you deal with it? Also, what is the biggest lesson you learned out of it? Because हमारे शो पे ना सारे स्टोरी टेलर्स ही आते हैं, ठीक है?
Okay.
क्योंकि
Okay.
जो स्टोरी नहीं बता पाएगा वो अपने ब्रांड के बारे में नहीं बता पाएगा.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
अपने बिजनेस को चलाने के लिए भी आपको एक स्टोरी बुननी पड़ती है.
So the biggest roadblock that I face in general in my business is that people think it's a touch and go kind of a thing. See, storytelling is an art, and you're an artist if you call yourself a storyteller. Roughly, there are 1 million people on LinkedIn who use storyteller in their resume. And it's a fact, it's a data corroborated by one of the greatest storytellers, David Hutchins. So there are 1 million people because they say, oh, this is the buzzword. Okay, let me use it. Let me put it in my CV. Let me call myself a storyteller. I don't deny that. Please feel free. The biggest roadblock is people will expect, okay, you come, you do a 2-hour workshop, and the next day everybody in their organization, oh, he's talking stories, he's using storytelling. That's not the way. It's not a touch and go thing. It's an art. It develops with time. You need to give the other person more time, whether I'm the facilitator or anybody. That's one. So I've had challenges telling people, a lot of entrepreneurs that I've story coached, that give yourself time. Number one. Number two, everything is not a story, And number three, and most important, storytelling is truth well told. Now, truth well told does not mean that if everybody is coming from, let's say, a very difficult background, everybody has got like 10 failure stories, you need to have no. If you've been gracious enough, you've had a smooth life, talk about that. Talk about the fact that there was absolutely no challenge, and that kind of helped me this and this. You have to remember this thing verbatim, truth well told. So be authentic. So when I tell people, okay, now that after the workshop, please talk about stories, so they'll create failure stories. मेरे पिताजी बहुत मेहनत कर रहे थे, मेरी, ठीक है, that's fine, but you don't have to create in authentic situations just to make yourself a great storyteller. So talk with authenticity, talk about things which happened with you, and you will find an audience. and learn to spot stories, which comes with time. It's not like 2 hour workshop and now tomorrow you'll do. No, it takes time. So that's been my biggest challenge. And that's why whenever somebody approaches me, I tell them it is going to take time. You want to come and do business with me? Fine. If you don't want to, please go. It's okay. But I cannot, it's not a nursery rhyme that you learn in like 3 hours with me and tomorrow you'll go on stage and spit it out. It's not that. It's an art and it takes time. कहानी सुनाओ, कहानी बनाओ, अपनी ओरिजिनल कहानी सुनाओ लोगों को और अपने आप वो लोगों के दिल तक पहुंचेगी, क्योंकि ऑथेंटिसिटी के लिए, रियल चीजों के लिए हमेशा जगह है दुनिया में, यू नो. तो यही, दिस इज द ओनली थिंग आई वांट टू से.
क्या अभी तो बात बोली है ना इन्होंने, कहानी सुनाओ, कहानी बनाओ मत. और शायद हम बचपन से ही we've been telling our kids, we've been telling the youngsters, don't cook up stories. Tell me the real story.
Yes.
And somebody to develop a real story, that is where the creativity comes in. See, you must have heard about this generative AI, AI tools, artificial intelligence, virtual reality. There are so many applications coming 2 years now, everything will change. Earth is going 5D from 3D, what all you hear all the time. Now, you tell me, what is the future for all the storytellers, content creators? क्या होने वाला है?
My take is, I'll swim against the tide in this. I say welcome AI. We are at the cusp of a big transformation. You can't ignore. If you can't beat them, be with them. Do a handshake. And I feel AI के आने से storyteller की value diminish बिल्कुल भी नहीं होगी. Yes, AI can generate beautiful stories at the swipe of a button. You give them the plot, you feed the plot, they'll create a story, fine. What they cannot create or replicate is the unique human experience which varies from one person to the other. Even if you pick up 5 people who are coming from the same area, the similar kind of childhood, each one will have a very unique take on things, very unique experience. And the stories, if I pick up any 5 random people in my workshop and tell them, okay, tell me one story from your childhood, no matter whether they've had a similar background, they will have very unique stories, unique experiences of school life, whatever. This uniqueness only human beings can get. So there are a lot of benefits of AI vis-a-vis storytelling is concerned. You can get some ideas, they can enhance your knowledge, vocabulary, whatever. But the experience you bring, and as a storyteller, the way you narrate, a mechanic, a technology, AI cannot do that. So I don't think there is anything to be worried about, because our uniqueness as human beings, as narrators, as listeners, as tellers, is not going to go. And I do not get afraid of the technology. I feel use it to the best possible way, but nobody is replacing you. I totally feel this. हम कहीं नहीं जाने वाले.
हम ही चले जाएंगे तो यूज कौन करेगा?
यूज कौन करेगा? बिल्कुल.
So nice. अच्छा, so now this is the Happy New Year and we are recording you in 2024.
Absolutely.
Your birthday is right here. So how was 2023? What lessons you learned? What are the, वो कहते हैं ना कि कौन सा उम्र के हिसाब से एक नया अनुभव हुआ आपको, जो आपको शायद पहले कभी नहीं हुआ?
सबसे बड़ा अनुभव ये हुआ, मैंने ये जाना, आई रियलाइज्ड कि जब आप जिंदगी के स्टेज पे चढ़ते हैं तो आपके लिए ताली बजाने वाले लोग बहुत कम होते हैं, आपकी गलती निकालने वाले बहुत ज्यादा होते हैं. There is everybody out there to correct you, to hamper you, to tell you what's wrong, what's not going to good enough for you. But that's okay. You still do what you feel is coming from within you. If you're lucky, you'll get support in terms of some mentor. Somebody will come and hold hands. Very rarely people will help you without their own benefit. But still, so if you ask me, what is that one word for 24 coming from the lessons of 23 is start. When I joined LinkedIn, I had a few hundred followers. I did not know how to go about on LinkedIn. There were so many coaches available. Ye karo, 10x growth, ye wo. I didn't do anything. I was just observing, getting confused. I started writing about my experiences very honestly, very earnestly, and very authentically. लोग साथ आते गए, कारवा बनता गया, and today I have 4,500 plus followers, completely organic. More than followers, they are connections. So every time I write something, I get DMs ki, oh fine, yeah, I felt this, you actually caught the nerve. I felt this, and I can add on this. So that time I realized, don't wait for people to come and help you, and don't be fazed by the criticism you get. Just keep on doing your work. अपना तमाशा जारी रखो, करते रहो, अपनी ही गलतियों से सीखो. अगर किस्मत अच्छी है, अगर डेस्टिनी है, you will get help. Otherwise, रास्ता बनता जाएगा. Continue. I tell, if somebody asks me, how do you see yourself? I say, I'm sailing on a yacht in a river. I don't know where I'm going, but I know I'm going somewhere. I'm not stationary. So, as they say, you're not a tree, move. If you don't like where you are, move. So I'm moving in a direction. I'm learning a lot from the mistakes what I make, but I'm happy. I'm in a very happy space. So that's my go-to mantra for 24. Continue doing what you want. Keep on upgrading your knowledge. There is no substitute for that. Keep on, but don't be fazed by the criticism. There are far more people who are ready to criticize you, even for the slightest things, than people to help you. So it's okay. Take it in your stride.
आपको पता है रिचा, once you know the way and you're driving on that way, you are there is a possibility that you might fall asleep. But when you don't know the way and you're lost, you will be 200% active.
Yes, very, very true.
So
Absolutely.
that's the mantra I follow. कि मुझे पता ही नहीं था, मुझे अभी भी नहीं पता मैं कहाँ जाने वाली हूँ. I'll tell you something. This is so we went.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
तुक्के से गए, तुक्के से बुला भी लिया. And when I went over there, I had absolutely no knowledge about what I'm going to speak. My son, he's 25, he's telling me, आप पहुंच कैसे गए वहां पे? I said, I don't know. The investors are talking to me. But one thing I knew was it was a lifetime experience.
Absolutely.
And God has been kind because I didn't know the way. So I got a tea stall in between and I had my stuff, So मुझे लगता है कि yeah, मुझे भी आप बिल्कुल I can totally relate to what you're saying, that when you don't know तो चलते रहो ना यार. जिनको जुड़ना होगा वो जुड़ जाएंगे, जिनको नहीं जुड़ना होगा वो अपने घर में खुश, हम अपने रास्ते पे खुश.
बिल्कुल. और एक बहुत अच्छी स्टोरी इस टाइम पे मैं अपनी उसमें भी शेयर करती हूँ. It's a story of Christine Ha, the famous lady who's hosting the Blind Cook blog. She's blind. She won the MasterChef 3 season with Gordon Ramsay. She's opened 3 Vietnamese restaurants. She's a Vietnamese refugee. So how she managed to win when people spoke to her, she says, because I'm blind. Now this is my biggest strength because I can't see. So what people who can see, they change their dish midway. And in the end, because they get fazed by the competition, I too can't see now, I continue doing what I'm doing. So sometimes, not sometimes, I think a lot of times, ignorance becomes a bliss. And the fact that you're unfazed by competition, okay, he's doing what he's doing, I'll do what I want to do and what I'm capable of doing. I think it can be your biggest strength. And as you rightly said, जिसको जुड़ना होगा वो जुड़ेगा, जिसको नहीं जुड़ना है कोई बात नहीं. But आप अपना रास्ता बना ही लेंगे. At least you're better than anybody who's not moving, who's still stuck. You're moving. That's the biggest advantage.
मुझे तो लगता था बुली सिर्फ स्कूल में होते थे.
We
You
were
won't imagine when I came back and now people in our community, in my business and my, my connections, most of them know that I went. So we are not supposed to share it on social media. And not yet till the time they tell us. So आते जाते ऐसे पूछ लेंगे, हाँ रे क्या हुआ आप गए भी नहीं हो, आपने फॉर्म भी नहीं भरा, आपने पेपर वर्क भी नहीं किया,
very
आपने
typical.
अपनी स्क्रूटनी भी नहीं कराई, आप
Very
बाल भी
typical.
नहीं कलर किए, आप वहां गए भी नहीं फ्लाइट की टिकट खर्च करके, लेकिन आपको ये जानना है कि हाँ रे क्या हुआ. Like, oh my God,
Rashi, if you were to just Google on LinkedIn the number of business storytelling workshops happening, I can't tell you the kind of people who are doing. I don't know what shit, what crap are they teaching, but they're there. What I want to tell you, what I want to teach you is something which is still not there out in the open, which is my experiential knowledge and which I want to share with you. You may benefit from it, you may not, but I'm not going to give you those ready-made 10-pointer slides because that dismantles the whole thing that I'm talking, that you don't need slides, you don't need data when you have a story. But that's happening. That's business for a lot of people. I don't criticize that, but then I don't like the fact that those people come back and say, "Are you've not done a single workshop and you call yourself a storyteller?" I said, "Yes, I have the courage for that. So don't you judge me." But that's there. And you would not believe, a lot of people DM me saying that LinkedIn gives them jitters, They get very they get a big FOMO when they look at LinkedIn because it's always celebrating the work anniversary, the new joining. It's not for common people. So that's how social media operates. So yeah. So I think we can be each other's biggest strengths also, and we can be each other's biggest critics also. It's about how you take life, because
तभी तो मैंने बोला बुली सिर्फ क्लासरूम्स में नहीं
नहीं
होता.
नहीं, ये भी मेरी भी लर्निंग है कि बुलिंग मुझे लगता था स्कूल से निकलने के बाद खत्म हो जाएगी. नहीं नहीं, खत्म नहीं हुई है, काफी है, अभी भी है.
Wonderful. I've never had a candid and such a secretive, conversation.
No,
Wonderful.
I'm just loving it. I'm loving it.
Okay, great, great. Okay, Richa, tell everybody about your future plans. What next after these, podcasts that you're doing, conversations? Let's hear.
So there are a lot of things I want to do. I feel like a kid in a candy store who's just entered and who has still not even relished 1% of the candies available. The journey has just started for me. I want to get into, because as a storyteller, I've done a lot of voice modulation exercises, and I want to get into the voiceover work, wherever it is possible. I want to do more of podcasts. I want to be seen and heard, because not that I'm some great yarn giving person, but I have a lot of experiential knowledge, I have seen things from close quarter, which a lot of people might not have seen or experienced. So I want to share all that. And I also want to get big time into writing, content writing. Writing is my first love, has always been. So I really want to convert all what I write into a book sometime, which can be published. And that is it. Plus the storytelling work, I want to spread more and more of this. I want to do some more clients, some more organizations. I want to hone more skills in this. And I feel we are all a work in progress, always. So a lot of learning will continue. And as I said, I've just entered this candy store. I have to still savor a lot of things available. So, but my main aim for 2024 is to be more seen and heard, more podcasts, more coming in front of the audiences, telling them the kind of work I'm doing, more learning, more spreading the experiential knowledge I have, which you may not get on Google, which you may not get on those books. I can help you with that. And of course, continuing with the writing part. Yeah.
You will be able to achieve all that. This is my personal wish for you.
Thank you so much. Great.
Wonderful. Okay, tell everybody about the awards, any appreciations you received for so many years you've been working now.
So I don't have great awards in person to say, okay, I won this and that. But the greatest accolades I've gone is the connections I've made, the DMs I get for all my stories. I've been a consistent mover. I've changed my industry. So from, let's say, teaching in Delhi University to life sciences students, to coming into corporate, doing my MBA post that, then selling international education, and then selling coaching. So I've changed my industry so many times. I've changed my line of work so many times. I have gained experience. I have failed, I've got up. I failed again, I've got up. So I think the biggest reward and award I can consider for myself is that I've not stopped and I'm moving. And a lot of my clients, they come back and tell me that the kind of passion you have for still doing so many things, completely unrelated, you want to do that, is very difficult to get at an age, because a lot of times when we have set established careers and personal and professional things are going on fine, we become very complacent. So complacency is something which I have never experienced, and I'm always very energetic and passionate about trying new things. So the biggest award is that whenever I write something, people not just like and all, but they come back to me saying that yes, we would like to connect with you more on this, and we want to talk to you more on this.
To all the people who are running magazines, newspapers, other podcasters, podcast show people, get in touch with Richa. She's all set to be heard and seen. And I'm sure you'll be able to get it, because normally मैं बड़ी बात तो नहीं बोलूंगी, लेकिन जो हमारे साथ जुड़ जाते हैं वो वैसे ही बसने लगते हैं, what I always say,
Lovely, lovely.
हमें
So that's
भूल
a great
जाते हैं,
start of the year.
वो हमें भूल जाते हैं और हम सोचते हैं कि यार ये हमें भूल गए, फिर हम उनको पकड़ के लाते हैं कि आ जाओ हमारे पास.
Rashi, every time we've connected before this also, I felt a very nice personal connection with you, because you're a very no fuss person. I did not feel that, okay, you're not fake, you're very real, and I like people who are real and honest and authentic, because that's a rarity these days. You hardly meet somebody who's not wearing a mask. So I love to connect with unmasked individuals. I'm myself one, and I like that. So that's where the yin and the yang matched when I spoke to you first, and I realized ki whatever it is, you're a very honest person and authentic and no mask. So I like that.
I just hope people also listen to this show and they will say, अरे हम तो इसको बोल बोल के थक गए, इसको तो अकल ही नहीं है. देखो.
Oh God, I think I need to do a podcast on this also, how to be a badass.
Wow.
I'm sure a lot of listeners will have, particularly the homemakers, because a lot of my friends, this is something I'm sharing with you personally, they call me up, they call me bahana.com, because see, I am a storyteller right from the start. So they'll call me ki, my mother-in-law is expecting this. Now I don't want to have a bad face, but still I don't want to do. So tell me a situation, a thing to exit. So I'll give them the most authentic exit strategy that even the biggest corporate organizations will fail at. So, and they'll come back to me say, how do you even think of all this? I said, yeah, it's like a skill, underrated skill. People don't realize it. But I realize, I think joint family setups are the biggest ground for training you in a lot of things. The first thing is they train you in things like how to manage, how to have diplomacy with the storm inside and the calm outside, how to get away with murder, how to get away with things. And they bring out the defensive mode, they activate the defensive mode. So from the start you are not defensive, they bring out the attack mode. तो पहले आप बड़े normal होते हो, आप बड़े शांत होते हो. जब आप joint family के cauldron में घुसते हो, आप attack warrior बन जाते हो कि तू क्या बोलेगा, पहले मैं attack करूंगा. So you always keep the quiver of arrows ready कि even before you open your mouth, I'll just put an arrow right then and there. So I call it a cauldron, which is always simmering. You hit the name now in me.
One word for all the communities, brands, business houses from Richa Wahi. Let's hear.
Be authentic. Be authentic. When I say authentic, I mean it to the T. Whatever work you're doing or not doing, just share that with your customers. Just share it with your people. If you're faltering, share it. If you're not faltering, share it. Again, I say the same thing. Humans are making businesses to be sold to humans. It's a human to human selling. The connection has to be heart to heart. So be authentic. People don't buy from brands. People buy from the sentiment the brand invokes. If I am a company which is selling home security devices, again, I'm coming to the same example, I will look for a brand which talks about that, how these devices will ensure you have a safe house. The emotion, the brand story will invoke is what will let people sit and take notice, and eventually they will buy or sell. So your authenticity counts. If you're authentic, you may not have success in one go, but you will always be successful in the long run. I will again say the same thing. Any storytelling, whether it's brand, corporate, business, whatever, it is truth well told. And also another piece of advice for most of the businesses is don't overdo storytelling. If you're a healthcare company, you don't need to just talk about patient stories. There are so many sources for stories. Talk about how Krishna was the best coach anybody could have in as Arjuna. So talk about stories from mythology, talk about stories from everywhere across. Talk about, if you're a leader, talk about how vulnerable you felt, or how scared you were when you were given this charge on day 1, and how you managed from day 1 to day 10. What was your journey? Talk about that. Connect with your people. So your internal customers are more important than the external. Connect with your own people first, and then go out and connect with customers. And that is where storytelling will help to sell and to skill.
So see, you've spoken about a platform where you're already doing conversations. We are also from the same industry, we all are podcasting, we all are talking stories. What do you want to say for all those people who are copying you and not acknowledging you? Then people who are doing a product, based on your product, okay, not acknowledging you again. So, I personally, I feel, Richa, that it is not about competition. It is always about doing collaborations. It is always about learning new things, but with gratitude and acknowledgements. This is my personal, attitude. So, what word you have for such people who will pull you down, still copy you?
Definitely, there are, as I said, when you go on the stage of life, there are most of the people like that only. When I say most of them, 80% will just pull you down. उसमें से कई 20% शाने ऐसे भी होंगे जो pull down भी करेंगे, copy भी करेंगे. Though we always say imitation is the best form of flattery, but at times it really disturbs you, because you're also building something with a lot of hard work. And before it just goes out in the market, somebody just copies it and puts a fancy paper on it and, serves. I realized one thing: you can't fight these people. You'll fight 10, 10 more will come. You'll fight those 10, 10 more will come. They will continue to come. There are so many of these around you all the time, whether you're on LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever, Instagram. It's plagiarism, but you can't call it out because they do it in a very manipulative and cautious way. What you can do is you continue doing what you're doing and try to keep a lot of things under wraps before it is to be launched, especially the ideas. Now, I know a lot of people who are working on midlife idea already, and there are a lot of people who started this idea after probably having a conversation with me. But again, the experience I have and the way I presented, only I can do that. So I just need to have faith on myself. There's no other strategy which will work, and be completely unfazed by what anybody has to say. Because there'll be hardly a soul clapping for you. People don't clap. These days, they don't. Even your closest friends at time, they will not clap for you. What is destined for you will come for you if you're doing. I'm not saying just do leave on destiny, but with all the hard work, there are a lot of things which are destined for you. So if you're earnest and honest, God helps in curious ways. He'll send you he'll make you connect with somebody who will kind of help you in some other way. So you just have to trust. You just have to trust the universe. You have to keep doing, keep innovating, and at times keep things just to yourself.
Yeah, so I think the solution she gave was consistency. That you have
Yes.
to keep doing what you're doing. Just be consistent. And I think that's a fact, When we started podcasting like 4.5, 5 years back, so there were very few people. COVID came in, everybody started podcasting, everybody
Yes.
was doing.
Yes.
Where are those people today? You need to be passionate about it.
Yeah.
You have to be, because if you developed a product and you know exactly how it's working for you,
Absolutely.
it really
Absolutely.
doesn't matter. This is absolutely great, and what a great conversation and what a great show. And that is the whole idea ki kahani sunao, kahani banao mat.
Now,
And I think this is absolutely wonderful. Stories, stories, and stories. The idea is to bring out more ideas and more solutions through stories to foster love and balance. Richa, आपका बहुत बहुत thanks है क्या पाए.
thank you so much. Really a pleasure.